Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 15, entitled Parashurama, the Lord's Warrior Incarnation. So, in the Dashavatara Stotra by Srila Jayadev Goswami, there is a very nice verse by Jayadev Goswami, and that's the 6th verse. I'm going to share that first. Let's read that verse, and then we'll read the Bhagavatam, since we're talking about Lord Shri Parashurama. The 6th verse in the Kshatriya Rudhira Maye Jagata Apagata Papam Snapayasi Payasi Samita Bhavatapam Keshavadhrita Bhrigupati Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Bhrigupati, Parashuram, all glories to you. At Kurukshetra, you bathed the earth in the rivers of blood from the bodies of the demoniac Kshatriyas that you have slain. Rivers of blood. The sins of the world are washed away by you, and because of you, people are relieved from the blazing fire of material existence. So that's another actually reason where the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, the Bhagavad Gita begins with this. That's why Kurukshetra was chosen. Actually, it was a war field from a very long time. It was not the first time this war of Kurukshetra or Mahabharata was happening. Earlier also, rivers of blood were, or the Kshatriyas' bodies who had been slain by Parashurama was actually, that place was also Kurukshetra. So this is text 6 from Jayadev Goswami. So now we come to the reading of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We read till text number 13 yesterday, so we'll resume from 14. Yam ahur vasudevam sam he hayanam kulantakam tri sapta kritvo yaimam chakre nishtriyam chakre nikshatriyam mahim. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Learned scholars accept this Parashuram as the celebrated incarnation of Vasudeva, who annihilated the dynasty of Kshatriyas. Parashuram killed all the Kshatriyas on earth 21 times. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So the word used here is tri sapta, 3 times 7. Bhagavatam also teaches us math. 21. Even in the story of Prahlad Maharaj, 3 saptabhi, the word exactly same is used. 3 times 7, your generations will be liberated. But that's for other thing. But here 3 times 7, he destroyed the generations of Kshatriyas. So that means one after the other, like practically all the Kshatriyas were gone except for a few, and then they all ran to different parts of the world. In the Western countries, there were no Kshatriyas left actually. They were the bad kings, the dynasty of Kartavirya, Arjun. So, and he's also the incarnation of Lord Vasudev. Vasudev Amsha. Iti cham sakala pumsam krishnastu bhagavatam-sevayā. So Amsha means the portion of the Supreme Lord, or a division or a part. So we also read that in here also. So he's one of the Dashavataras. There are multiple avatars, but Jayadeva Goswami mentions in the Dashavataras. So let's see what happens further. Text number 15. Nandini Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. Druptam Shatram Bhuvo Bharam Brahmanayam Ani Nasat Rajastamo Vrutam Ahan Falguni Api Krite Mahasi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace S.A. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the royal dynasty, being excessively proud because of the material modes of passion and ignorance, became irreligious and ceased to care for the laws enacted by the Brahmanas, Parashurama killed them. Although their offense was not very severe, he killed them to lessen the burden of the world. Purport. The Kshatriyas, or the ruling class, must govern the world in accordance with the rules and regulations enacted by great Brahmanas and saintly persons. As soon as the ruling class becomes irresponsible in regard to the religious principles, it becomes a burden on the earth. As stated here, Rajastamo Vrutam, Bharam Abrahmanyam. When the ruling class is influenced by the lower modes of nature, namely ignorance and passion, it becomes a burden to the world and must then be annihilated by superior power. We actually see from modern history that monarchies have been abolished by various revolutions. But unfortunately, the monarchies have been abolished to establish the supremacy of third class and fourth class men. Although monarchies overpowered by the modes of passion and ignorance have been abolished in the world, the inhabitants of the world are still unhappy. For although the qualities of the former monarchs were degraded by taints of ignorance, these monarchs have been replaced by men of the mercantile and worker classes, whose qualities are even more degraded. When the government is actually guided by Brahmanas or God-conscious men, then there can be real happiness for the people. Therefore, in previous times, when the ruling class was degraded to the modes of passion and ignorance, the Brahmanas headed by such a Kshatriya-spirited Brahmana as Parashurama killed them 21 consecutive times. In Kali Yuga, as stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 12.2.13, Dasyu Prayeshu Rajasu, the ruling class Rajakya will be no better than plunderers, Dasyus, because the third class and fourth class men will monopolize the affairs of the government. Ignoring the religious principles and Brahminical rules and regulations, they will certainly try to plunder the riches of the citizens without consideration, as stated elsewhere in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 12.1.40. I'll read this one and then maybe someone else can read. It's a long purport. Asamskrita kriyahina rajasatama savrataha prajaste bhaksha ishashyanti malicha rajagya rupinaha. Being unpurified, neglecting to discharge human duties properly, the being influenced by the modes of passion, rajas, and ignorance, tamas, unclean people, malichas, posing as members of the government, Rajagya Rupinaha, will swallow the citizens. I'll stop there, Prabhu. So here is to summarize quickly. So Prabhupada is so accurately describing what's happening and what we see around us every day. He's saying third class and fourth class men will be ruling, and we unfortunately witness that. We go through that, we get ruled by them, and it's like a Kali Yuga story, classic Kali Yuga story told in Mahabharata few times, that the fence will start eating the crop. The king is actually a plunderer, is a thief, but sitting on the position of the ruler. So this is unfortunately the situation. So all the monarchies have passed away, which were bad. It has been replaced by the worst, and this is how the Kali Yuga effect, we see that everything keeps on getting degraded. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Let's read the rest of the purport. Anyone wants to read? Yes, Prabhu, going to read, continue.
I will try. The purport by Swami Srila Prabhupada Swami Ki Jai. Evam prajabhir dustabhir akrene kisti mandale brahma with kastra sudarnam yo bali bhavita narpa praja hi lubdhi hai raja navai nir grahanir dasayu dharma piha achina darivina yavanti giri kananam. Human society is naturally grouped into 4 divisions as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Chatur Varnyam Maya Saritam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. But if this system is neglected and the qualities and divisions of society are not considered, the result will be Brahma with Kastra Subranam Yo Bali Bhavita Narpaha. The so-called caste system of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra will be meaningless. As the result, whoever somehow or other becomes powerful will be the king or president, and thus prajas or citizens will be so harassed that they will give up heart and home, and will go to the forest. Yasyanti Giri Kananam, to escape the harassment by government officials who have no mercy, are addicted to the ways of plunderers. Therefore, prajas or the people in general must take to the Krishna consciousness moment, the Hare Kṛṣṇa moment, which is the sound incarnation of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatara. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has now appeared as an incarnation by his holy name. Therefore, when prajas become Krishna conscious, they can then expect a good government and good society, a perfect life and liberation from the bondage of material existence. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji and Master Prabhu, for reading this. Such a nice verse, and Prabhupada is giving a detailed purport because it is so important. Because everyone wants to be happy in this world. No one wants suffering, no one wants torture, no one wants any kind of misery. But when the leaders are who are supposed to protect the king, the statesman, the governor, prime minister, president, everyone is a leader actually in some way or the other. But the main leaders who are supposed to protect, when the danger is from them only, then where will the praja go? Right? When the mother or the father who are supposed to protect the child, but when danger is from the mother or the father only, where will the child go? Right? That's Kali Yuga. So the point is that people will start running to the forest. As Kali Yuga is going to progress, as Mataji gave the example of the fence is eating the crop. The rakshak, the fence is like to guard or to protect or to keep the enemies away, right? Or to keep the strangers away. But when the fence itself starts to eat the crop, what will the crop do? So rakshak has become bhakshak. The one who is supposed to protect has become the plunderer, bhakshak. So that's why Yadaidahi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajami. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya ja dushkritam. Dushto ka vinashaya ja dushkritam. Sambhavami yogi. So Krishna comes directly or indirectly or through incarnations or through empowered devotees. So the Shakta Vesh avatar of the Lord, the Dusht Daman Shakti. Parashurama is said to be the Shakta Vesh avatar of the Lord. And what Shakti? Like Narad Muni is Bhakti Shakti. But here Parashurama is Dusht Daman. Daman means to bring under control or to destroy the enemy. Dushto ka vinash. So he became a cause of destruction, not one, not two, 21 generations of Kshatriyas. He killed them. Why? Because they ceased to care for the laws enacted by the Brahmanas, or they became irreligious, adharma. Although in the translation it's mentioned that their offense was not so severe, but Parashurama wanted to lessen the burden of the world, teach a lesson. We see that in the story of Vena Maharaj also. Vena was also a Dushta Raja, and the Brahmanas did a hamkar with the power of mantras, destroyed the body of Vena. So again, there also we see Brahmana destroying Kshatriya. Brahmanas have a lot of power by just their mantras itself. I mean, we just saw the example of Richika also, how by the mantras he could put those qualities in the charu. So when the government is guided by the Brahmanas or God-conscious men, then only there can be real happiness of the people, as it is line from the purport. So the government, so we are also ruling this government. Our body is also like a mini government. Senses, the subjects, mind, intelligence, the different ministers. So if we also allow this government to be ruled by Krishna consciousness, in short, Guru Sadhu Shastra, then we will be happy. If we allow it to be ruled by the wicked mind, that is uncontrolled mind, which is the worst enemy, then this government will fail, and all the subjects, the senses, everyone will be miserable, in short. So, when we see that even in this day and age, like the police is supposed to give protection, right? Police is a representative of government. But when the police is around, actually, this person is actually fearful, right? There must be something wrong. Why is the police standing next to me, right? The police is supposed to give protection. The person should feel more secure, more safer, right? But the person feels actually opposite, right? That I'm in trouble, or they will do something wrong, or now it's, they better stay away only from me. So Prabhupada also gives a very nice point here. The Hare Krishna movement, or the Krishna conscious society, is the sound incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So beautiful. Sound incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Because our movement, the whole thing is based on sound. Bhagavatam sound, holy vibration sound, kirtan sound, japa sound, bell sound. Just think about, without the sound vibration, what our movement will be. Sometimes we may take these things for granted because we may do these things repeatedly, or we may hear repeatedly, but it's all about sound. Sound is so powerful. But it's not an ordinary sound. Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtan. This is coming from the spiritual sound, spiritual world. So therefore, Prabhupada is encouraging that it should be ruled by the right people. Now, just think about, in democracy, Prabhupada said a lot of things like demon crazy and democracy. It's like give the power in a school. Let's think about one example. In a school, give the power to all the students, or let's say fifth graders. Okay, fifth graders have to make a decision in the school whether they should have exams or they should not have exams. Okay, so what will they come up with? Right? All the fifth graders have to decide in the school that the fifth class should have exams or not. So what do you all think? Anyone wants to be a spokesperson and say what they'll come up with?
No exam.
No exam.
No exam. What to speak of exam? They say, why do you have 5 days school and 2 days off? Why don't you keep like 2 days school and 5 days off? That will be a better idea. And everyone will vote for it, right? Yeah, there will be majority. It will pass with flying colors. So it's something like that going on. So the people who don't know, nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Prahlad Maharaj says people don't know that the real swartha is in Vishnu. Nate gatim swartha, nate vidu. They do not know. Vidu means to know. So therefore they will make wrong decision. And the people who make the right decision, let's say some prime minister says, no, no one can drink alcohol in this city. And then thousands and thousands of people will protest. How dare you? Why are you curbing my freedom? Why are you? It's my body, it's my money. I have the right to drink whatever I want. I will drink this, I will do that. So it's all nonsense. Because of not following a true devotee. So therefore, even the leaders have to be, vote banks and stuff, so they won't make such decisions. If they make, they won't get elected next time, right? Because the majority of the people want sense gratification. So those who make policies in favor of sense gratification will be re-elected because that's what people want. Like the fifth graders wanting no exams, like the fifth graders saying, well, we want only 1 day school, 6 days off. So unless someone is at the level of Prahlad Maharaj, then that person can say, well, that person should be the real king, a pure devotee of Lord. Therefore, all these kings, they were Raj Rishis. They were not unintelligent or adharmi people, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, etc. But if the Raja is adharmi, then Parashurama-like person has to come to uproot. Okay, so let's see what happens further. Yes, Mahāprabhu, want to read?
Sri Rajo Vacha Kim Tad Hamho Bhagavato Rajanyar Ajitatmabhi Kritam Yena Kulam Nashtam Kshatriyam Abhikshnasa. Translation. King Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, what was the offense that Kshatriya who could not control their senses committed before Lord Parashurama, the Incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, for which Lord annihilated the Kshatriya dynasty?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for reading this nice verse, quite straightforward. So, in the previous verse, Sri Shukadeva Goswami spoke that the offense was not very grave, it was less severe. So, let's see. Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring for all of us. Text 17 to 19. Anyone wants to read? Hasn't got chance yet. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees. Śrī-Bhādara Yunirvacha Haihayanam Aditpat Arjuna Kshatrayarshavaha Dhatam Narayanam Sham Aradhya Parikarmabhi Bahundashasatam lebhe Durdashravam Aratishu Avyahantenandri Yaujashri Tejo Viryo Yasobalam Yogeshwaratvam Aishwaryam Gunayatrani Ma Dayaham Chacha Raya Hatagatir Lokeshu Pavanoyata. Translation. Okay. Translation by Jim. This is the Vedanta Swami Parashurama. Kijay. Sukadeva Goswami said, the best of the Kshatriyas, Kartavirya-Arjuna, the kings of the Hayayahas, received 1,000 arms by worshipping Dattatreya, the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana. He also became undefeatable by enemies and received unobstructed sensory power, beauty, influence, strength, fame, and the mystic power by which to achieve all the perfections of yoga, such as anima and lagima. Thus, having become fully opulent, he roamed all over the universe without opposition, just like the wind. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, basically, it's a story about Kartavirya Arjuna. So, he's also known as Sahasrabahu. He had received 1,000 arms. The math here is Dasha Shatam. Dasha means 10, Shata means 100. So 10 times 100 is 1,000. Bahu means arms. So yet 1,000 arms received from Dattatreya. Who were the parents of Dattatreya? Anyone remembers? We read recently.
Atreya Rishi.
Yes. And the mother?
Anusaya.
Yes. And he is the incarnation of, the partial incarnation of
Lord Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu. So we read about the Soma, the Tattreya, and what was the third one?
Durvasa, I think.
Durvasa. Yeah. Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Their partial incarnation became Soma, the Tattreya, and Durvasa. So it was very, very powerful. A lot of strength. Anima, Lagima, these are the 2 of the 8 siddhis. So a lot of strength he had in short. 1,000 arms. So let's see what he was doing with his 1,000 arms. So yes, Sudhir Prabhu, went to read.
Sure. Hare Krishna devotees, and Pranam on Krishna Sri. Sriratne avrata kridan revam bhasi madho takta vijayantim srajam vibhrad rurodha saritam vujaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Once, while enjoying the water of the river Narmada, the puffed-up Kartavira Arjuna, surrounded by beautiful women and garlanded with a garland of victory, stopped the flow of water with his arms. So, Hare Krishna Prabhu. So now that he had obtained the boon, and he is more powerful, and he is now puffed up, now he is misusing his power by showing his power by stopping the flow of a river of Narmada. So I think here we can see that what you explained, Prabhuji, the kings and people are so much power hungry that they just want to show off, unlike other kings like Indra Maharaj and all, who was unlike him, were always in the service of the Lord. Thank you. Please add Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. This is a very nice verse with a very deep lesson. When someone gets some special privileges, the tendency of a materialistic person is to show, right? I am wealthy, I am powerful, or I have 1,000 people working for me, or I have 1,000 arms. Look at my strength. I can even stop the Narmada River. And that is specially kind of instigated in the presence of opposite sex. It's very subtle. But when Brahmachari was giving a class on this, actually, and that if 5 people are, 5 males are kind of sitting, talking, etc. Especially bachelors, let's say. Okay, they're just sitting, and suddenly in a hall, let's say, and suddenly a girl, an unmarried girl enters. Now everyone will become very conscious of what they're doing, right? So it's very subtle impact is there. So we see that this personality, Kartavya Arjuna, was surrounded by beautiful women, and he wanted to show off his power, show off his strength. So much effort he had done to attain those strengths, right? These siddhis. And that's what we see in the material world. People want to show off their cars, their bikes, their this, their that, right? In different ways to attract the attention of opposite sex. And to show that I am better, or I have a better car, or I have a better bike, or I have better opulence, or I have a better home, or I have better whatnot. So this is very, very deep rooted. So Kartavya Arjuna was basically showing off his strength, and he stopped the flow of water. Just imagine Narmada River, and this is practically Treta Yuga going on. From Satyuga, it has come to Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga, where's the power, the rage? It's not easy, but he had that power. So let's see what happened. He could stop the flow. And let's read the next verse, 21. Anyone wants to read? Where is it, right?
Yeah, I can read.
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, people grow and read.
Oh, okay. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, download pranam, all praise to Śrīla Prabhupada. Takes 2 into 1. Biplabitam sa shibiram pratishyata shorij jalai namasita tasya tat viram virmani dasho nana. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Because Kartabirajuna made the water flow in the opposite direction, the camp of Ravana, which was set up on the bank of the Narmada near of city of Mahishmati, was inundated. This was unbearable to the 10-headed Ravana, who considered himself a great hero and could not tolerate Kartabirajuni's power. Purport: Ravana was out touring to gain victory over all other countries, Digvijay, and he had camped on the bank of the Narmada river near the city of Mahishmati. So, by translation, it looks like Kartabirajani was showing his power by blocking the flow of the Narmada river, and that way the city Mahishmati was flooded. And Ravan, who was actually at the bank of the Mahishmati at that time, and that also make him angry because he's also a great hero. So, to big power, but looks like demonic mentality, both of them came face to face. Back to Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So I hope everyone is able to understand this, what's going on here, right? So just imagine the flow of the river. So the river is flowing in, let's say, a direction. Kartabirajuna was downstream, further ahead of Ravana. So they both happened to be at the Narmada river. Ravana was trying to gain kingdom. He was a little upstream, ahead. But when Kartabirajuna blocked the river, it kind of created a dam. The river could not move further. So what will happen? The water will accumulate, right? And flooding will happen. So it will go back, right? It will flow upstream in the opposite direction, as we read here. The water started to flow in the opposite direction, and it created a flooding where Ravana and his camp was there.
Prabhuji, like the dam made for the power plant.
Yes.
There's some noise.
Is it okay now? Yes, so basically a dam, he made a dam and the river started to flow backwards. And this really kind of Dash Anana. So Ravana, the 10-headed. Dasharana has a very deeper meaning also, that basically 10 head means tendency to enjoy through 10 ears, 10 eyes, 10 outward. Dasharatha has the meaning inward, to control the 10 mind and senses. Both have the word Dasha in them. Dashanana and Dasharatha. Ratha, control the chariot of mind and senses. The Dashanana means outward, to enjoy more prestige, more name, fame, recognition. So when Ravana was there at the bank of Mahishmati, he himself, everyone considered themselves, every puffed up person thinks I'm great, right? Could not tolerate this. So let's see what Ravana did and what happened further. It's an interesting story. Yes, Canto, you want to read next verse? Can you hear me? Prabhu? Yeah, I can't. Prabhu, are you in a position to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Grihito Leelaya Srinam Samaksham Krita Kilibishaha Mahishmatyam Saniruddo Mukto Yena Kapir Yatha. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada teacher. When Ravana attempted to insult Kartavirya in the presence of women and thus offended him, Kartavirya Arjuna easily arrested Ravana and put him in the custody in the city of Mahishmati, just as one captures a monkey and then releases him negligently. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. So we all know the power of Ravana in the story of Ramayana. He was not an ordinary person either. So powerful. Dashanana practically conquered the three worlds. Trying to build the staircase to heaven. So many things. He was very, very powerful. But his strength in front of Kartavirya Arjuna was like a monkey. Exactly, that's written. Mukto yena kapir yatha. Kapi means monkey. In the kapita fruit, kapidhvaja. Right? In the Bhagavatam, it comes kapidhvaja. Kapita is a fruit eaten by monkeys. Kapi is basically a monkey. So when Ravana went back downstream, who has obstructed the flow of the river and caused this havoc to my camp? Because he wanted to show his strength to the women surrounding him, and especially insulted in the front of, because Kartavirya kind of insulted Ravana in front of the women who were surrounding him, but Kartavirya Arjuna certainly was more powerful. And he kind of tied him like a monkey and then released him. Okay, you want to get away? Go. So it basically just tells us that Kartavirya Arjuna was many times more powerful than Ravana. So just to give some estimate of his strength. Because this story is actually just Śrīmad Rayana or Sri Shukdev Goswami is just speaking to show the strength of Kartavirya Arjuna. Isn't it? Because the topic is not about Ravana. The topic is what was the offense of those Kshatriyas? Right? That's the topic. But this is to give the background so that we can understand that how powerful were these Kshatriyas. One last verse, Raghu Prabhu, you want to read for today?
Yes, I can read. Hare Krishna devotees. Text 23. Sa ekada tu mugriyam vikaran vijane vane yatra chyashrama padam jamat tikner upa visa. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Once while Arjuna was wandering unengaged in a solitary forest and hunting, he approached the residence of Jamadagni. Purport. Kartavira Arjuna had no business going to the residence of Jamadagni, but because he was puffed up by the extraordinary power, he went there and offended Parashurama. This was the prelude to his being killed by Parashurama for his offensive act. Hare Krishna, back to you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So now the Ravana and Kartavira Arjuna story kind of wraps up there and is giving us an understanding of that Kartavira Arjuna was Sahasrabahu, who had a lot of the siddhis and special powers and opulence and whatnot. He could easily tie Ravana. Now comes the story between Jamdagni. Okay. Everyone knows who is Jamdagni?
Father of Parashurama.
Father of Parashurama, right? Yes, he is the father of Parashurama. And who is the father of Jamdagni?
Gadi.
Gadi? Richika, yeah. Gadi was like supposed to be in one way, but the plan got changed by Gadi's wife. Who is the wife of Jamdagni?
Renuka.
Yeah, so Sri Prabhu is very eager to tell that. So, yes. So Jamdagni and Renuka, their son was multiple sons, but Parashurama or Ram was one of them. So we will see what happened when Kartavira Arjuna came at the ashram of Jamdagni. And there is a beautiful drama by RG Media. I will share the link for that as well on this theme. So you can watch that as well, because those are really very nicely done based on the bona fide scriptures, Bhagavatam, etc. So you can please watch them at your comfort. Nice, spiritual, fun, entertainment. And of course, devotion also, not just entertainment, but enriching and enlightening also. So I see Surya Kumari Mataji has joined. Mataji, thank you so much for your kind association. Are you joining from Indiana, Police?
Yes, Prabhuji, I am from Indiana.
Nice. Are you the mother of Pavan Prabhu?
Pavan, yeah. Pavan Rajanan.
Pavan Rajanan. Oh.
Yeah.
Very nice. Nice. Now I can connect all the dots. He's always such a sincere devotee, and he sent a Bhagavatam set to his friend recently. We're going to meet him on the Rath Yatra very soon, so I'm very excited. Hope you could also make it. That would be very nice.
Yeah, I might have, Prabhuji, because of this COVID. I planned everything, and in the last moment, my son told, no, it is too rampant here, and so I had to cancel. Otherwise, I might have been this week in clear waters in Florida.
We miss your association.
Yeah,
what's your Dikshit name? What's your initiated name, Mataji?
Shama Karuna Devidasi.
Oh, very nice. Please inspire your son and daughter-in-law to follow your footsteps.
I know I'm trying my level best, Prabhuji, but some are devoted to Sai Baba. So I can't force them in any aspect, but I try my level best. Even my son. But let us see.
He's a very nice devotee. He's always very supportive and very, very kind. So thank you for your association, Mataji. We have this daily. You're more than welcome to join on all weekdays in the evenings and weekends in the mornings.
Yes.
So any other quick comments, additions, questions before we pause for today?
Mataji always inspires Surya Kumari Mataji. She posts nice pictures, videos, and we had a chance of meeting Mataji when Mataji was in Tampa. Thank you so much, Mataji, for all your wonderfulness.
Done with pranams, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Feel like seeing you all the devotees again soon.
Please come soon. When things get normal, please come soon. So we'll pause here. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purani ki jai. Shri Parashurama Bhagavan ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Samahita Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Just a reminder, actually tomorrow is fasting for Ekadashi and also for Vaman Dwadashi. So that means you can do full fast till noon, and then if one wants can take Ekadashi Prasad. And then the following day, which is 17th, will be the feasting for Vaman Dwadashi. So because the fasting is done previous day. Actually, Dwadashi is on 17th, and Vaman Dwadashi, Vaman Dev appeared on that day, but the fasting for that is done the previous day. That is tomorrow. I hope that makes sense. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.